This is a story about courage.
When Jack was around a year old, we were told that it was likely that he had type 1 diabetes, a very unusual, very rare form of type 1 diabetes, but he would have diabetes for the rest of his life and he would have to be on insulin for the rest of his life.
This is a story about hope.
We have a beautiful daughter, and her name's Michaela. She is almost 3. She was a totally normal, healthy pregnancy, wonderful birth. It wasn't until about 6 weeks old that things started to look a little wrong. So we took her to the hospital. They ran a bunch of tests. I think they did a blood test, and then they came back. They didn't say diabetes at first. They just said that her blood sugar was really high. So we knew that she was diabetic. So when they said that, and we were in this room, and Scott had his back to me. It was the only time I've ever seen him cry, because I knew that he was gonna blame himself.
This is a story about faith.
I've always been a person of strong faith and have always felt that God had a plan for my life, but to think about God having a plan for my children's life, for my family's life, for my daughter's life who has a chronic disease, that was a little more difficult to kind of wrap my head around. But I saw through this experience with Lily, from her diagnosis, which was devastating, until the day that we saw her unplug her insulin pump for the last time, that God does indeed have a plan.
It's a story about heroes.
I think for everybody in Exeter, there is an enormous feeling of being part of something bigger. I think to have had the opportunity to make a change in people's lives is something we never expected, but for it to have happened, that will always be the thing that I'm most proud of.
This is a story about miracles.
I know Jack is going to be a happy, healthy young man, which is something that we couldn't have dreamed of when he was on the insulin. He's got his difficulties, he's got his challenges, but for him, being off insulin means that he will be able to have some kind of independence and a life that we never thought that he would have. Our lives are completely changed. And I just want to say thank you to everybody that was involved in this from the bottom of my heart, because you cannot express what a miracle it is. And it is a miracle. There's no other word for it. It is a miracle.
This is a story about miracles. It's also a story about dedication, determination, and love. Hello, I'm Leah Mortensen, and it is my pleasure to share with you the incredible journey that has created life-changing miracles for many who have suffered so much, but today suffer no more. How is this possible? Well, thanks to research and perseverance, an international team of dedicated scientists and doctors assembled the pieces and eventually solved an intricate diabetes puzzle. It's a discovery that has made medical history and took decades to realize, but the result is a breathtaking cure for many with genetic forms of diabetes. During this program, we'll share the fascinating story of this discovery and introduce you to some of the heroes that helped to make it happen. And there's another side to this story, one you rarely get to see. The human side, the personal side, the triumphant side. For this scientific breakthrough has had a profound impact on everyone whose lives it has touched. From the doctors and scientists to the grateful families who had long hoped and prayed for a diabetes cure, but never in their wildest dreams imagined it would come in the form of a simple pill.